right, I have some notes for you for this week, just as an introduction to truth tables and logic. We actually aren't going to be doing any truth tables this week. That will be all next week. However, what we are going to be going over is some vocabulary as well as symbols. So you'll see that you have an assignment that's associated with this. It's really short. And then you also have one exam problem that goes with this as well. You'll have more exam problems next week when we actually do some truth tables. All right, so I'll just label this as logic intro. So we use P to represent the first statement and Q to represent the second statement. So for example, I could have P would be the statement, it is raining. Q would be the statement, it is sunny. So if we want to represent, let's say, if it is then it, okay, so if it is raining, then it is sunny. I can represent that symbolically by putting P, an arrow like this, and then Q. So this symbol here represents if, then statements. This symbol is the one that you'll see the most commonly. And again, we'll talk about this in terms of truth tables when we do that next week. So again, that symbol there is really important. Okay, let's go on to just some more symbols that I have for you. So I'm actually gonna make this into a table. All right. So again, this part here, the P and the Q, is just representing two different statements. And this V means the inclusive or. So this goes kind of back to Venn diagrams. So I have my P, I have my Q, this is my universal set. The inclusive or is when I have everything that's in P or Q or both. And I'll go over some examples of an inclusive or once we're done with this. So that'd be everything in P, everything in Q, and everything that's in the middle. An exclusive or is with a V with a line underneath. Again, I have P, Q, my universal set. The shading for this one, exclusive or, is when it's P or Q, but it can't be both. So again, I'll go over some examples of that after. Another symbol that we need to know is our upside down Q, which is conjunction. What that means, again, going back to Venn diagrams, conjunction is just what they share. And then the last one I'm going to go over is it's just a line and then down, so kind of like a sideways, backwards L or something. And this is a negation. Oh, which just means not. So if I want not P, so if I want everything that's not P, that means I'm just shading everything that is not P. Like that. So hopefully those visuals kind of helpful. Like I said, though, I want to go over some examples of really the difference between the exclusive and the inclusive OR. So, example of the ORs. Okay, so one statement, or I guess one example would be, where's the one? You may study math at higher level or standard level. In the IB diploma. And I'm actually going to give that second statement too before I talk about them. You may study Spanish or French as part of the IB diploma. All right, so the difference between these is this first one. With IB, you can either take math at a higher level or standard level, but you cannot take both. So that would be an example of the exclusive. Or whereas with IB, you could, if you wanted to for your diploma, you could take Spanish or French. You could take one of those foreign languages, or you could take both. Okay. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful. And let's actually maybe look at a couple more. So another statement I could have is P the couch is brown. Oh, I spelled couch wrong, sorry. And Q, the chair is red. Okay, so for this one, here the couch is brown, the chair is red. We don't know whose home this is that we're talking about. So, and really, since for both of these are ors, so the couch is brown or the chair is red. This would be an example of the inclusive or, because the chair could be red the couch could be brown, or both could be true. So that one was an inclusive or. Another example that I want to go over is if I say that P is the sky is blue, and Q, the sky is overcast. So, I mean, if we're not getting into this too scientifically, I would say the sky is blue or the sky is overcast. With my basic meteorology knowledge, I would say both of these could not be true at the same time. The sky is either going to be blue or the sky is going to be overcast, not both. So this would be an example of the exclusive or. And my reason is because the sky is either blue or the sky is overcast. It can't be both. Okay. I want to make sure that we have the idea of the negation down, which these examples that I have for you should be pretty simple and basic. So if I have a statement of it is sunny, my negation of that would just be it is not sunny. Another one that I kind of like, these that don't always have to be necessarily be sentences. If Q is the equation I'm writing down, the negation of that would be just the opposite of this. So right now I have 2 times x plus 3 is greater than 6. Negation of that would be 2 times x plus 3 is less than or equal to 6, because that would be the opposite of that. Okay, I want to take a sentence that actually, or piece of information that has multiple parts, and write that in words. So another example I want to look at is if I say that P is the apples are ripe. Q, I'm going to say the harvest season is started. And we're going to actually add an R here, which is the current month is July. So we are going to translate this right here into words. So I feel like that looks pretty complicated, but if you just go back to the symbols that we've gone over and that kind of table I made for you, that should hopefully be helpful. So first of all, I see I have this symbol here, so that means I know I'm going to have an if-then statement. So I'm going to start with if. So if P, if the apples are ripe, then I have this symbol here. This is my conjunction symbol. Conjunction would really mean and. So if the apples are ripe and Q, the harvest season started. Then I have this symbol here, which is the if then. So I already used the if because that's what a statement, what a if then statement would start with. So next I'm going to put then, and this is the negation of R. So then the current month is not July because I needed to do the negation of that. All right, just a couple more things here. Some more vocab is inverse. If it wants the inverse, that means our normal order would be if P, then Q. Our inverse then becomes the negation of P, or if the negation of P, then the negation of Q. So it just becomes the opposite of both of those statements. The converse, so again, the original is if P, then Q. The converse is flipping the order. And the contrapositive, again, the normal order is if P, then Q. Our contrapositive is a combination of the inverse and the converse. So I flip them, and they are the negation. So contrapositive is just the other two combined. Okay, so I'm going to go through these three with a scenario. So I'm going to have that P is like I studied for the test, and Q is going to be I did well on the test. So first, for the inverse would be if I did not study, because again, it's the negation of P. If I did not study for the test, then negation of Q. Then I did not do well on the test. Converse would be if I did well on the test, because again, it's just flipping. So if I did well on the test, then I studied for the test. If I did well on the test, then I studied for the test. And the contrapositive, remember contrapositive is the negation of both, but also the order flipped. That would be, again, my P, I studied for the test. Q, I did well on the test, so I'd start with Q, but the negation. So if I did not do well on the test, then I did not study for the test. So again, today's information was just some basics with a good amount of symbols that you need to become familiar with. And then hopefully the assignment that I have attached as well as the exam problem kind of help you out. next week when we actually start using truth tables, hopefully this will kind of connect the pieces a little bit more for you. Again, if you have questions, please message me through Canvas.